And with that, now we move into the second team that we're previewing tonight. It is February 3rd, so maybe there is a little bit of change as these episodes get released. So please don't jump down our throats if we miss a signing or something like that we don't know what we're talking about. Let's get back to Orlando City SC, and I apologize in advance if I make any jokes at the expense of this club. So one of the biggest things to note about their roster is their new coach. Oscar Pareja, the former FC Dallas coach, is now coaching Orlando City. He had a brief stint in Tijuana. Now he's back in the MLS. That's got to be good news for City fans, right, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great coach. He did extremely well down in FC Dallas. Did not do so hot at Tijuana. He came right back to MLS to come coach the Lions in Orlando City. They've got to be excited about this guy. He's a very good coach. Does very well with young talent, and I'm really excited for that hire. It's better than some of the hires they've had in the past. So I'm hoping that he does extremely well and starts moving this team in the right direction. As far as some of the players that have come in, midfielder Andres Pereira, on loan from Atletico Nacional. Midfielder David Laura, homegrown. Jordan Bender, another homegrown. Rodrigo Schlegel, loan from Racing Club. Defender Antonio Carlos, a loan from Palmeiras in Brazil. We've touched on him on our previous episodes. Forward Darrell Dk.
Yeah, go find a picture of Antonio Carlos. The dude is a massive defender. Like he's going to scare some forwards, that's for sure. He's a beast.
Absolutely. Speaking of beasts, Darrell Dk is a beast. That's a big boy. They picked him up 5th overall in the super draft. Midfielder Junior Urso, a transfer from Corinthians in Brazil, and then goalkeeper Pedro Galiz, who came in on a free. So a lot of good South American talent coming in for Orlando City. They've had connections in the past with Brazil, hence their first big signing was Kaká, as big as you can get from a Brazilian standpoint. I know the ownership group, there's lots of connections down in Brazil. So some of the players that are out, Danilo Acosta had a loan expire. Midfielder Carlos Esquives and goalkeeper Adam Greenwys had their options declined. We've got Cameron Lindley, Shane O'Neill, Dylan Powers, Greg Rajit Singh, Lamine Sane all had their options declined. Christian Higuita, Will Johnson, and Sasha Klestin out of contract. So what I find here is that they got rid of a lot of old MLS veteran talent that did not pan out too much. These are guys that they brought in thinking that the whatever phase of rebuild they were trying to do, these guys are really going to help. And some did okay. Klestin did okay. I wouldn't say good. Will Johnson kind of played his part. He's older. You weren't going to get a ton out of him. The only concern that I have out of this is, look, I understand that when things are going bad, and bad for years, because they have been going bad for years, not even making the playoffs in club history, you're going to have some turnover, but damn, chill out with the turnover. It's not, it's not the best answer. I know when things are going bad, that's what you want to do, right? You just get rid of everybody and bring in a bunch of other guys, but you have to have a little bit of consistency. You don't want to be Toronto FC. Orlando, you do not want to be Toronto FC and go 9 years without the playoffs. You are getting close. Toronto FC in those first 9 years, they got rid of everybody. Every year they went bad, they got rid of like 9 guys out of that starting 11 and brought in other guys and fired the coach. The loans scare me as well. A lot of these guys coming in are on loan, and that, there's not a lot of a commitment from the front office, and that's kind of like, like a 24-year-old version of myself. I was not committing to anything at that time, and that's kind of how I feel with Orlando City. So enough on that rant. Nick, what are your thoughts on these guys?
Well, let me disagree with you here a little bit, Mike. Maybe the front office looks non-committal because of the loans they're bringing in and the fact that they're getting rid of some of their veterans here, some of their household names. But if they can get production from Antonio Carlos, if you can get production from Andres Pereira, these loans could turn into designated player spots because you've got Nani, Dwyer, and Mauricio Pereyra, who are your current DPs. Nani, 33 years old. We'll see what kind of year he has based on what he did last year and based on how Orlando City is going to have to rely on him. He's probably going to have a pretty good statistical year again in 2020. But I don't know when his contract's up. His contract may be up at the end of the season, or maybe another year, maybe an option or something like that. And then you got Dom Dwyer, who is consistently underperforming. Since he left Kansas City, he's been consistently underperforming from a goal production standpoint. Those two guys could be out as DPs at the end of 2020, and then a couple of those guys on loan could become your new DP long-term deal type building block players. So maybe the front office isn't being non-committal. Maybe they are just committing to a rebuild over the next couple seasons. And sorry, Orlando City fans, I know you don't want to hear the word rebuild. It feels like you've been rebuilding ever since you got to MLS. But that might be where the team is at this point, especially when you bring in Oscar Pareja, who is known for developing youth talent. Give the guy a year or two to work with your academy, with your homegrowns and things like that. So that's kind of my take on where the roster is right now and kind of what they're looking forward, especially from the DP perspective.
Okay. Yeah, the DPs, as you said, as far as contracts go, Nani has 2 more years. He signed a 3-year contract at the beginning of last year. So he's got 2 more seasons. Dom Dwyer's up at the end of this year. So he's a lame duck. I don't know if he's going to be getting re-signed unless he goes crazy this year. So, there are some options to, maybe turn some of these loans into potential DP and TAM type guys. I don't know.
And Dwyer does strike me. Dude, Dwyer does strike me as the guy who's just going to have a 15-goal year just because it's a contract season for him. Like, I just feel like he's that guy. And then they're going to give him the money, and then he's going to regress right away. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Dom Dwyer.
No, either am I. I mean, the guy had 7 goals and 4 assists last year, 27 appearances, only 16 starts. So the writing's on the wall. 16 starts out of 27 appearances. That means he was coming off the bench a lot. I don't know. We'll see. Mauricio Pereyra, 29-year-old Paraguayan, played in the top flight in Argentina, played in Russia with FC Krasnodar. A lot of Europa League experience. Could translate into a decent player for them. Don't know much about the guy other than that. Seemed to play okay towards the end of last season, but nothing crazy. We need to see a step up on his part and Dwyer's part from the DP perspective. Nani, 12 goals and 10 assists. I expect big things out of Nani. He came over. He's getting up there in age, but he came over and did extremely well in a league, where usually these type of guys that have, played over in Europe their whole career and have been big names at big clubs, sometimes they'll take a little bit longer to get used to MLS and the flights and, all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah, well, what I saw from Nani last season was that the first handful of games, he didn't want to look selfish. He was really deferring. He was looking to pass. He was looking to try and bring some of his teammates into the play a little bit more. And then when he realized that Dom Dwyer was missing from 7 yards out, when he realized no one was making those runs, when he realized no one was getting on the ends of his crosses, then he's like, fine, I'll just do this myself, and ends up with 12 goals and 10 assists. So if he has that same mentality that he finished the season with going into 2020, I would expect him to at least have another 12 goals and 10 assists this season. But moving on to maybe another role player who can really contribute to Nani's play and to some of Orlando City's success, if they have any, is Darel Daik. He's a youngster that, in our interactions with
Darrell
fans.
Dk.
Darrell Dk. Oh my gosh, dude.
Pronunciation right, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. One of the other breakout youngsters. I'm that out. That's ridiculous. I can't say that. Yeah. Let's just okay. So one of the other breakout youngsters that I expect to take on a bigger role, especially if Nani can get him involved a little bit more, Darrell Dk. He is the brother of Bright DK. For those of you who may know his career, I actually don't know much about him other than, kind of a few notes we put together on Darrell. He was the number 5 pick in the draft. Probably could have gone number 1 because he is a big physical player. And if he has a big year, which I hope he does, they'll probably end up releasing Dwyer or maybe trying to move Dwyer in the summer transfer window. But Darrell Dk, a lot of Orlando City fans are really high on him. We've seen a lot of buzz on social media about Dk, and I am encouraged for Orlando City because of this signing. Or because of this draft pick, really. Mike, what do you think? And how much do you know about Bright DK? Is that going to have an impact on Darrell?
It might. There's a lot of age gap between Bright DK, his brother. I think he's like 33, and this young guy, is just getting out of college. He could have went number 1 overall. Bright DK had a decent time in MLS, was playing for the Nigerian national team. He was actually with Toronto FC right before, I believe, the 2014 World Cup. And then he was going to be on the team for Nigeria, and then he got injured and had to miss out. Something you can actually find it on Toronto FC's, his kind of claim to fame is on Toronto FC's YouTube page. You can see under their most popular videos is when he was kicking the ball and he shanks a shot and his shoe goes flying from outside of the box into the goal. And it got millions and millions of views. So that's this guy's brother. But anyways, that has nothing to do with this kid's talent. Definitely has a lot of talent. Big physical player. I think he will really solidify that depth. I don't expect him to, take over a starting spot in year 1, but I think he's really going to break out, score maybe 8 to 10 goals, and really kind of take that next step for that Orlando City front line to allow them to get rid of a guy like Dom Dwyer. Some of the other guys that really were, bringing a lot of attention on social media, mostly through Reddit, is João Moutinho, the former number 1 overall pick of LAFC. He is now with Orlando City as well. You've got, this Michel come in, I think Benji Michel to come in and do well. Jordan Bender. There's a lot of young talent on this Orlando City team. Not to mention, not really a breakout youngster, but a guy who broke out last year, and Chris Mueller. This guy, he scored a lot of big goals for Orlando, and I don't know if he's going to break the starting 11 because he did come in so much towards the end of the games and do extremely well towards the end of the games as a sub. So a lot of good young talent there. I really like Darel Dk, and Orlando City fans are really, really excited about this kid, as they should be.
So given all of the roster movement, as far as a projected starting 11, Orlando City kind of finished the year playing a 4-3-3, so that's what we're anticipating them to come out in. I mean, we'll see what Pereyra wants to play. But looking at a 4-3-3, we're looking at Galice in goal, backline of Mueller, Jansen, Carlos, and Ruan. The midfield 3, Pereyra, Urso, and Pereyra. And then finally up front, Nani, Michel, and Akindele. The front 3 are a threat. Can the defense hold? Can they get distribution up front? And can the 3 strikers find the back of the net? That's kind of my take on it. We'll see if Dwyer can get back into that starting lineup and be a consistent goal scorer for Orlando City once again.
Yeah, I think the attack probably is not even their most concerning spot to me. I think it's the midfielder, the midfield 3. We don't know a lot about Junior Urso. We don't know a lot about Pereyra. These are new signings. They have the experience from these other clubs that it seems like they'll be able to come in MLS and do well. But just to note your pronunciation there, you went through, it was Pereyra, Urso, and Pereyra. Not Pereyra again. So there's not 2 Pereyras on each side of Urso. But it sure looks like it because they're damn near spelled the same. But yeah,
we've been recording, about an hour's worth of material here. Give my tongue a break, all right?
An hour, man. We've been here about over almost 2.5 now.
Oh my God, my wife is
But yeah, I
probably going
think
nuts.
most important player for me is Nani. I mean, he is the face of the franchise. He has to have a big season, probably even better than he did last year with the 12-10, and just continue to grow and take that full year of experience in MLS and make it the next the next step in the process to do even better. That's kind of my thoughts as far as that. I can't see anybody else being the most important player for Orlando. Do you?
No, unless you want to talk about Pareja being the most important person on the field for them.
Right.
But yeah, it's got to be Nani. And if Nani can play to his full potential with Orlando City, if their strikers can find the back of the net, if Michelle takes the next step, if Tesho Akindele takes the next step, if we see Chris Mueller as a super sub coming in the 65th minute of every game, finding the back of the net and helping things out, like if everything goes right, if Dwyer has a resurgence, if the defense figures it out and shores it up, I could see Orlando City ending up, fourth or fifth in the Eastern Conference, making the playoff for the first time. If some of the other teams fall off, or if they steal some points from some of the top seeds, maybe they could squeak into that fourth seed. As we saw from last season in the East, everything was really tight and really came down to the last. It really came down to decision day. It was a true decision day for a lot of teams in the Eastern Conference, that last regular season game. But if Orlando City's downward trend continues, if Pareja needs more time to get the team gelled together, if Nani kind of mails it in, if Dwyer just says whatever, I'm not getting a new contract with these guys, if the defense is as leaky as it could be, then we're looking at a bottom tier Eastern Conference team, no shot at the playoffs. That's my floor and ceiling. Mike, do you agree? Do you disagree? And what do you think we can expect from their opener against RSL?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do against RSL. Kind of I would say, even level team to them. I agree. I think the ceiling is just really making the playoffs. Maybe like getting an away game, 5th, 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Just make the playoffs. Orlando City fans, you're in the same boat I was a few years ago as a TFC fan when we had made the playoffs in 9 straight years. That season, I didn't care. Just make the damn playoffs. Yeah, they got blown out 3-0 in the first round, and it sucked, but I was still happy that they even made the playoffs. I think that is the focus for Orlando City. Just make the playoffs, get in, then we'll see what can happen. That's the first step in the team.